Are you guys ready from D&D? All right, my name is Gregory Wilson. Welcome to Night at the Forbidden Library. It is a pleasure to have all of you here. I'm going to let the players introduce themselves and introduce their characters in a minute, but I do want to say, first of all, that what you are about to see is set in the city of Neverwinter. The year is 1380 DR, I believe, so it is well before the time of troubles, if I've got this right. It's before the whole place got destroyed in a hypothetical video game that doesn't as yet exist, because we're before that. So this takes place in Neverwinter Academy, and I'll explain more about how Neverwinter Academy works in just a minute, but first, I'm going to let my wonderful players introduce themselves, and I will start with Karen over here. You want to just tell us who you are, and then tell us who you're playing.
Okay, hi, I'm Karen Bovenmeyer. My first book came out in March. It's a historical romance of what if Han Solo and Tarzan fell in love and fought pirates. So that's fun. I've been playing Dungeons & Dragons since I was 10 years old. I adore Dungeons & Dragons. I'm also an editor working with Escape Artists. So if you've heard of Escape Pod, Pseudopod, Podcastle, I will be editing Pseudopod, Artemis Rising. We're opening for stories in September from women, non-binary, and women-identified writers. And historically, women undersubmit to horror. So please, if you have any horror stories and you are female-identified, please submit.
Lovely. Who are you playing?
Oh, sorry. I am Lassen Shadowborn, Drow Rogue. Do I read my...
You can tell us as much as you want to tell the audience, as much as you'd like to let them know, and your fellow players too.
Well, every school has its outsiders. Neverwinter Academy is no exception. But Lassen Shadowborn seems to be the worst of the lot. He's so creepy, for one thing. Always appearing behind people walking in the hall, emerging out of nowhere when someone's studying in the library. Things which make people nervous to be around him. Then there's his dry sarcasm. It always feels like Lassen's, always subtly mocking people, always showing them up when they make a mistake in class or say something foolish. His unpopularity couldn't have anything to do with him being a drow. Everyone's way past that kind of obvious racism, including Vernon Richard. Sure, no one knows exactly why he ended up in detention, but there must have been a good reason.
All right. Leading us right on to, of course, Beth.
You started playing when you were 10?
Yeah.
I hate you.
Smile for the camera, Beth.
I started playing when I was in college. I'm not looking at the camera because my name's actually Nora Roberts. And I'm playing Corinna Proudborough, halfling monk. Corinna is awfully serious for a halfling. Instead of enjoying food and drink and good company, she seems to be much happier off by herself or training in the academy's courtyard, spending hours punching and kicking the air. She's not very social, she's not very friendly, but she isn't overbearing either. She's just there most of the time.
Hello. Hello. I'm Kelly Swales. I've got several short stories out there. I've got a few YA books out. Yeah, I'm a writer. That's what I do. I'm playing Garvin Stonebeard, dwarf cleric. Everyone likes Garvin Stonebeard. He's unfailingly nice to everyone and is quick with a laugh or an encouraging word if someone needs it, and happens to be exceptionally good at baking honey cakes. It's true he can sometimes grow a bit quiet, even a bit sad, but if it weren't for how nice he was normally, probably no one would even notice. Even the teachers like him, which is why the news of his having detention spread quickly. It's hard to imagine what he could have done to land in detention, but whatever it is, it had to be really bad to gain Vernon Rockard's notice.
Dun dun
Dun
dun.
dun dun.
The villain.
Dylan.
My name is Dylan Bertolo. I'm an author and now officially a game designer. Sorry, my first game has just got announced at Gen Con, so I'm a little bit excited about it. I won't say how long I've been playing D&D, but I remember the old red box set and the old basic set before that, so we'll just go with that. And I am playing Shala Skyblade. What you need to know about Shala Skyblade is that she is the person who is in charge. And if not, she should be. And everyone else is.
In her own head.
because clearly she is the most competent member of this group,
In her
and
own head.
clearly she always knows the best way to handle things.
In her own
Like
head.
there was that time when the Manticore broke into the
In her
library,
own head.
and she was able to talk it down and get it out of the library before anyone at all noticed it.
Molly Ringwald.
Good thing he recognized one of his own kind, so that worked out.
And that's all you need to know about
Can
her.
hardly wait for the lipstick scene.
Aaron. Aaron.
A little scared. I'm Aaron Rosenberg. I'm not Nora Roberts. Neither is Beth over there. Hi, Beth.
You've been outed.
I write novels, children's books, role-playing games,
In his own
educational books, a lot of other things.
Ransom notes.
Sometimes in your head, and sometimes in your name.
I know, it's great. We share a brain.
Yeah, Dylan and I have a story coming out called Space Llama Spat, and after that, another story coming out called Cooking with Jetpacks. You can run now if you like, it's okay. I am playing Kalexin Brightscale, Dragonborn Sorcerer. She's a goody two-shoes. Yep, okay.
Awesome. All right, everybody. I'm Ryan Shapples. I'm the narrative director at Open Legend RPG, and I'm actually really excited. Speaking of escape artists, I have a story coming out in September with Cast of Wonders, the YA fiction podcast. It's about a geomancer, and Fripp Robar. He's really into his teenage wife, Varencia, and that gets them in a lot of trouble. That's all you need to know.
Let's specify he's also a teenager.
Yeah, that is an important detail.
I felt this was an element of
really,
context that should be inserted for the record.
Yeah.
Just
They,
in
they
case.
appear to be a rather amorous couple, he and the person who's about to introduce
He's
himself.
Everyone's over 21,
He's
right?
19.
By, yes.
Just remember the married couple have matching shirts. They're so
Yeah.
cute.
See, we just really
We
for the
planned
part,
this.
you know what I mean?
We've been waiting for this.
It's a long play. Very well played. Brian.
Yeah. So I'm Brian Feaster. My name's very close to Ryan's. We're married. You know, I'm just kidding. But I'm the creator of Open Legend. So you know, that's I'm kind of a publisher, game designer, I guess. And let's see. So I'm playing Varencia Elevin, and again, apparently very happily married to my good friend here, Fripp Robar, and kind of are known for their escapades, it seems, and seems like nothing is too
Go ahead.
nothing's
keep
over the line
reading.
for these guys. Let me just tell you. All right, so buckle up. I think that's it for me.
Buckle up, buckle up!
And last but certainly not least, David.
Hi, I'm David Mack. I've written a whole lot of stuff for Star Trek over the years, including television episodes, novels, comic books, reference materials, video games, you have it. I've written for a bunch of other series, and I have my own original series coming out in January from Tor Books. First book is called The Midnight Front, and the series title is Dark Arts. There are some free copies of that book being given away this weekend here at Gen Con, advanced reader copies. So if you haven't already got one in a swag bag, stop by the signings that I'm doing tomorrow at 3 and Saturday at noon and try and grab yourself a copy. I will be playing Cadmus Respar. It says, if you have a problem, go see Cadmus Respar. Everybody knows that. Cadmus is the ultimate protector for the weak, the oppressed, and the meek. You better be sure you're in the right, though. More than once, Cadmus has turned on his quest givers when he discovered they had not told him the whole truth. And you'd better be sure your offender really deserves what they'll get. He isn't known for being gentle. He's essentially a life support system for a fist. Or a delivery system for a sword.
I like it. All right, so again, I will set the scene a little bit for these folks and we'll get underway. So the year is, I think I said 1370, but it's 1360. 1360 DR.
You lied.
We are, and I already lied.
Lies.
We
Is
are
this gonna be
in,
on the test?
We're in Neverwinter, and this is Neverwinter Academy. Now, Neverwinter Academy is one of the great schools on the Forgotten Realms. In this particular area, the particular part of the school that all of these folks are in, is the lower division. It's essentially moving from high school into college, maybe college prep might be the way to look at it. And all of these people who are here because they were extraordinarily talented at various aspects of adventuring, whether it was martial arts of the martial quality, whether it was the magical arts, whether it was religious devotion, which allowed them to channel great power, whatever it was, all of these people were exceptionally good at adventuring. And generally, that's been the case, but
And generally I was
there
the
are
best.
some people
It is a
at this school that have some difficulty staying on the straight and narrow path. And all of these people, with one possible
More of a
exception,
guideline.
more of a guideline, with general guidelines. One of the people here, the possible exception of Calixon, have been brought to this place because they have finally fallen afoul of the law. And the law in this case is played by Vernon Richard, the assistant head of school. Vernon Richard, the assistant head of school, has had enough run-ins with all of them that he's gotten tired of it, and so they are all on detention. But it's not just any detention. This is detention on the night of anniversary, capital A. Anniversary serves two functions at Neverwinter Academy. First of all, it is designed to celebrate the founding of the school many years before. But secondly, it is designed to celebrate the graduation of those moving on from the lower division into Neverwinter Academy proper. Something that these folks will not be able to do so far because they are on detention. They've been sent down there to detention and been told that they have several tasks, and one in particular that they must fulfill to the belief structure, if he believes they've done the right thing, of Vernon Richard, assistant head of school. Now, the only other thing all of you, the players and the audience, needs to know is that recently the school has gotten a new head of school, a man named Thaddeus Caleriton, who took over for the old head of school that had been in there for many, many, many years. Thaddeus Caleriton is a very imposing-looking, tall, very impressive-looking wizard who has apparently a great deal of magical skill. He is no nonsense. He doesn't like dealing with sort of extraneous problems, and people don't really know a lot about what actually motivates him, except that he wants things cleaned up at Neverwinter Academy. He wants a lot of loose ends to be tied, and so Vernon Richard has told him that he's just the person to do it. And so he has given the charge of these 8 students to Vernon Richard and said, okay, here's your detention, you have a chance to do what you wish with them, to put them back on the straight and narrow. And so it is the night of anniversary, and all of you are now sitting inside a small antechamber near a wing of what is known as the Forbidden Library. I'll explain what that means in a minute. As you were all sitting there sort of, waiting to see what happens next, in strides Vernon Richard. Now, Vernon Richard is not as impressive looking a figure, let it be known, as Thaddeus Caleriton. He's a little bit hunched, he's a little bit stooped, he's been there for a long time, he's experienced a little bit of burnout maybe. He's definitely sort of tired of dealing with this stuff, but the one thing he does not want to deal with are troublemakers in the school, and he is determined to do something about it. He has told all of them individually before they've shown up here. And so as you're all sitting here, Vernon Richard actually walks into the room. So, a fine group. It's a pleasure to see all of you here. I'm so pleased you could make it. Not that you had a choice or an opportunity, but I'm pleased nonetheless. I hope all of you recognize why you are here and how you could perhaps leave if given the opportunity. We will see what happens. It's all up to you, really. And it begins with you finding a very simple item. Anyone could do it. You're going into a library to find a book. What could be easier than that? And with that, he waves his hand.
Do you care which book?
He waves his hand. I'll explain that in a minute, Cadmus. And he waves behind him, and against the wall near where you're sitting, you see almost what looks like a projection. He is himself a wizard of some power. You see what looks like an image appear of a great wooden door with runes and carvings on it. And all of you immediately know what this door leads to. It is the Forbidden Library, the eastern wing of the library. Now, all of you, as students of this school, know exactly what this wing is about, at least from the rumors. You've been told, since the time that you arrived, that all manner of terrible things happen in this library. No one has ever been allowed in it since you've been at the school. In fact, no one's been allowed in this wing of the library for 20 years, since some terrible accident or incident occurred that none of the faculty will talk about, none of the administration will talk about. You're just not supposed to go into this part of the library. And everyone has come up with reasons as to why, until now. So he looks at all of you and shows you this projection, and then he says, that is where you're all headed tonight. And you're going to find one simple thing for me. If you do, you'll get off of detention. If
Great,
not,
follow me.
So he sort of looks at you, he's like, excellent. Well, there you go. And he points at the obvious stone wall, with like no way through it.
Yeah, go ahead.
Tap on the wall.
Go ahead.
Ding, ding, ding,
Yeah.
ding, ding.
Try your face.
Yeah.
I
Hit it
thought
hard.
you were supposed to help.
Who told you that?
You did.
Oh, well, okay.
So,
Hit harder. There, I'm helping.
Wait a second. Frick Robar, he exhales loudly, blowing his bangs out of his forehead. And then he puts an arm
That sounds
around
painful.
Varencia. If it's forbidden, shouldn't we not go in? Like, aren't we like in double trouble if we go in there?
Oh my god, Shaggy and Bum.
Oh my dear, you're not one to shy away from danger.
Yeah, but I'm worried about you.
We're gonna need some special
It is a matter of
equipment.
authority. We have been
Yeah,
given
we're-
a greater authority to
Yes.
say we
I
are
think we're
allowed
gonna
to
need
go
some
in.
special equipment before we go into special. Can I get a bucket of cold water?
yes, I'm aware that you might be concerned about the long-term effects of your going to this library, but I'm here to tell you that despite my own personal beliefs about your fitness for this school, I'm
Thank
not
you.
in charge of that decision.
But wait, why?
I've been really got
Sir,
And
lost
so-
in fitness, honestly.
Yes.
Why is it forbidden in the first place?
And he sort of
I can tell you a story about why it's forbidden.
I didn't.
It won't be
ask you,
true,
though.
but she can tell you a story.
He says, though I appreciate your story, I'll answer it, thank you. The library is forbidden because there were some events that took place within it some 20 years ago. Some things which those outside the library would have preferred not take place. Your job is to
Sir?
discover that. Yes.
Do you have to go to the bathroom?
Could you be more vague?
People died.
No.
People got sick and we're going in with a mop.
Stuff
So-
happened.
People
he-
just disappear.
So he points at the wall again, and he points at the wall again, and he sort of waves his hand, and then you see sort of again this image of the doors actually opening, and he says, inside here you will find a particular book. The book that we are looking for is the 5 Disciplines, a book which many of your teachers will need for a research project they are engaging in for the next year.
So
It is
it'll
a
be the-
long research project. There is no other book that can fulfill the purpose, and so we are sending you. And before you ask me why we are sending you, it's not because you're expendable. It's
Not all of
because, there's a long sort of drawn out pause, and he says, it's because we think this will be a good test of your abilities and the ability to work together, something you have not demonstrated to this point.
Ah, yes, the 5 disciplines. I read.
Spanking, caning, timeouts.
Now, I'm not sending you in there alone, because of course, Calixin will be there to watch over you. Isn't that
Joy.
right, Calixin?
Yeah, rah rah, go team.
Calixin will be watching
So
over
you
you
won,
to make sure.
you won the lottery.
Yes.
What?
Now, you should explain a little bit, because you just sort of talked about being a goody two-shoes. You should, it should be explained that all of the students know that Calixin is a character that spends most of her time hanging out with or around or near Vernon Richard. It's not really clear why, none of you actually know this for sure. But you know, you have some guesses about, you've heard teacher's pet, you know, things have sort of popped up about this. And so Vernon Richard explains to all of you that he'll be sending Calixin in to keep an eye on you. Also, I will keep an eye on you with my powers of wizardry, which, as you know, are considerable. Now, I want to be very clear to all of you. He sort of looks at each of you in turn. If any of you decide that it would be better suited for you to spend your time perhaps destroying shelves in the library with weapons, he looks meaningfully at the 2 fighters. Or if some were to spend more time lurking in portions of the library where there are plenty of shadows and they don't belong. Or if they wish to spend time trying open-handed strikes on bookshelves, for example. Or even waste their time with twice-baked honey cakes, or keeping their arms around each other the whole time, and other things I won't get into. If any of those things were to happen, I will not only be most displeased, but I am here to tell you that Thaddeus Coleriton himself has told me that he will remove you from this school permanently if you do not fulfill the task I have placed before you. So it's truly very simple. Either do what I tell you and get the book, or fail utterly and return to misery and whatever awaits the rest of your life. Yes?
Do we pass this grade level if we succeed in this mission, I wonder?
If you pass, perhaps you can
That's a great
advance
question.
to some graduating ceremony. Maybe.
Is
And think of the stories we'll have.
Is smoking forbidden in the Forbidden Library?
Yes, smoking is forbidden in the Forbidden Library, Fripro Bar, including the smoking of your, what do you call it, amplifier, or whatever that thing is that you lug around behind you.
More like
Leave it behind.
What about incinerating?
What about his
Incinerating
loins?
would work. So he kind of shakes his head.
I also request a flounder for the purpose of correction.
So he says, I have no doubt that all of you will certainly perform. Anyway, so he
Well,
backs up.
some of us are
And,
definitely trying to
he
perform.
now waves his hand at that same wall, but this time, instead of the image, you actually see the wall itself, in reality, open, which is not something you expected. You've not seen this happen before. And then he asks you, he's like, follow me then, and he walks through the open area into the wall. So,
Right, I follow him.
okay, you guys can now place, if you wish, your miniatures on that spot that you see there.
I'm in front. No.
No.
No. I'm in charge.
All right, tell you